Hi guys, it is the day back or the day after New Year's Day, so it's Tuesday, and or at least I think it's Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday, but I've been super busy today, so I haven't really had a chance to come on here. I'm also streaming on my Instagram and YouTube, but um, if you want to come and join me for this session, it's not going to be anything crazy or chaotic because I feel like I've been super sore from overdoing it lately, but I definitely want to stretch my back and get back into some movement. Um, so I'm going to start out um, with my legs uh, forward with a forward fold. So I'm going to raise my arms overhead and forward fold and just release the tension and hold it here in this position for a few moments. And while you're here in this position, just focus on your breathing and just really calm yourself down. If your day was chaotic, just focus on breathing and not worrying about it. If it keeps popping up in your head, just try to think of peace and calmness and what gives you that sense of calm. And for me, I know lately I've been overdoing stuff and putting too much stress on my upper body. So I really want to use this session to get back into other areas that don't feel it because you can really overuse muscles and it can have an adverse effect on how you feel. And for me, I'll just ignore that I have the pain and just do the workout or the position, but it's really not what yoga is about. Yoga is about listening to your body. So, and your body does store pain and emotion and stress. So, I'm going to sit up and I'm going to lean back. It might feel good to stretch back out your back after you've been in a forward fold. And then I'm going to start out in a cat and cow pose. For cat and cow pose, you're going to be on all fours, lift your head up, tuck your head under, and feel the stretch in your lower back. And really accentuate it. Focusing on your breathing. And as this new year starts, I always say that a new year shouldn't really be a reason to start what you've wanted to do for perhaps a while now. You shouldn't put off what you can start today. So if you didn't get off to a good start yesterday, what's saying that you have to wait for a new week to start what you want to start out with? So I'm threading the needle right now and just feeling that lower back twist, which feels so good. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to put my left leg out behind me, my right arm out in front, and I'm going to hold this pose for a moment to strengthen my abs. Now, while you're holding this pose, just think about how just focus on your breathing, but also try to remember that things are only temporary. Change is inevitable. So if you're in a hard situation right now or stuff is challenging in your life, it doesn't necessarily have to be like this forever. Things can change, things adapt, and things evolve. New things can come into your life. And I think a lot of people forget that when they get into this challenging part, that sometimes things that you don't know that are evolving might come to the forefront, and you might think, you're stuck in a rut or you're stuck in this crazy cycle that's not ever gonna end. But then you realize that this cycle is not forever. It's not permanent. Now I'm going to do the reverse. And as you saw, I came out to the side and then I gripped my leg in the back and I held it. But we're going to hold this other side as well, strengthening our abs and our gluteus muscles. So when we focus on the negatives, we're just creating this vicious cycle in our mind. So we need to remind ourselves to focus on the positives and the light. at the end. And know that nothing is forever and we can always change it. We can always change our mindset, our focus, where we are, and how we feel about things. So don't focus on the negatives. I know easier said than done, but this practice helps you get into the mood and feeling with what really is important in your life, and that's knowing that you're here in this moment. So while you're holding your right leg behind you and holding this pose, you're going to release, and then you're going to go back, and I'm going to go into a child's pose for a break. Release all that from your breath. Now, I'm going to come back up to all fours, and this is kind of a different thing. I'm going to walk my hands back to my legs, do a half lift, forward fold. I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to do a twist. So I'm going to stick my right arm behind, and then go back to center, stand on your toes, and tip your left arm behind. And then back bend, and I'm going to clasp my hands behind my back, and I'm going to do a forward fold. Just hold it for a moment, half lift, and then I'm going to go into a low lunge pose here. Now, this low lunge pose is great for your inner thighs and everything if you're sitting at a desk and you need to get blood flow. And again, really focus on your breath or your breath work. And then I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to do a side bend to the right, center, side bend to the left, and then forward fold. Now you can do any side bend that you want. You can even do the vinyasa, but I'm trying to avoid putting too much pressure on my upper shoulders. But if you wanted to, you could do the vinyasa, which would be like this. We're going to go back, and I'm going to walk my feet to the front of the mat. Half left, forward fold, stand tall. I'm going to step my right leg out behind me, point it to the back wall, and I'm going to put my arms to a T, and then I'm going to do a slight bend triangle pose. And you should really feel it in the abs. Do not slouch into your leg, and just hold it up here for a moment. And you really shouldn't be slouching. You should focus on the abductor muscles holding you up. And then stand tall, triangle pose with your left leg pointed out. And then lift your right arm to the sky. Face follows. Again, do not slouch. And then come back up to a T. Then I'm going to point my right leg out, and I'm going to do a reverse triangle. So with reverse triangle, I'm going to lift my left arm to the sky and twist it back, and my right arm goes up. And just feel that twist in your lower back. It really helps. And with blood flow. And then we're going to go back, arms to a T, point your left foot toward the front, and do a reverse triangle and look up at your left hand and just hold it here for a moment. Now, if you feel like you have to bend your knee, move your legs in closer, shorter stance, or use a block or something to bring the ground up toward you. And then stand tall, front of the mat. And then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do a side angle. So I'm going to step my right foot back, bend your right foot, put your forearm on your right foot, and lift your left arm overhead like a swim stroke. Now this stretches out your whole side body. So it's really good to stretch that out. And then I'm going to put my right arm underneath my left and clasp my hands. And then I'm going to do a Birds of Paradise. So with the Birds of Paradise, you're going to clasp your hands and you're going to keep your left foot down and pick your right foot up. Sometimes you can't do it perfectly. You can use a towel to catch it behind. And then from this pose, I'm going to go into a figure 4, sit down low, feel the stretch in your inner thigh, and then I'm going to do a twist called Temple Dancer all the way to the inside of my right foot, and then I'm going to lift, well, if I could hold it, I'm going to lift my right leg up, Padangusthasana A or B, which would be to the side. And then I'm going to hold it for a moment and just feel that inner strength or that stretching motion. And then I'm going to put it down and I'm going to go back to the front of the mat. And then I'm going to do this again, but on the other side. So step your right foot back, bend your left knee, and put your right arm overhead like a swim stroke. And just hold it here for a moment and feel that right side stretch. And then I'm going to clasp my hands behind, and I'm going to step my right foot up, and I'm going to do a Birds of Paradise, which is where your right foot's on the ground, you're holding your left leg high, and you're really working on your core strength and building muscle. And then I'm going to do a seated split, cross leg, left leg over my right knee, and I'm going to do a Temple Dancer, cross it over, and then I'm going to lift my left leg up, Padangusthasana A or B. You can go out to the side and just hold it for a moment. And the thing is with the strength training or these pose holds, it just really shows you how much strength or power you have inside. It doesn't matter how perfect or how amazing it really is. It's not about that. It's about you being able to do what your body feels or your body commands. So now I'm going to stretch my legs out either side. I'm going to do a forward fold. Whew. And I'm going to bend. I'm going to grip my ankles from the inside like this and really pull my forehead to the ground or my head and just feel that in your inner legs. Your legs do not have to be perfect. They can be slightly bent. And you're literally just pulling it toward the ground. I'm going to do a half lift. Stand tall. Whew. So now I'm going to take the inside of my right leg and tuck it, or my right foot, and tuck it in the inside of my left leg. And then if you can, I cannot connect. You put your right arm behind you. I know this looks kind of crazy. And then you lift your left arm high. And this is called half bound lotus pose. And then you're going to lean forward over it. If you can't hold it, I mean, everybody's anatomy is different. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to stand in this pose for a moment. And what it does is it's cutting off the blood flow to your right leg, and it's also helping strengthen it. It's a strength training pose as well. And when you come out of it, seated forward fold. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. So these poses, you can feel it's changing up the blood flow in your body, but it's also really great for the brain. So now I'm going to take my left leg, stick it to the inner crease of my right leg. I'm going to try to spin my left hand behind, lift your right arm overhead, and forward fold. Now in this fold, to get the full thing, your gaze should be up at your navel or slightly lower. And you should just be focused on holding your leg in between there. And then you can come out of it. Don't come out of it like I did. That would probably not be good. And then we just did both those standing poses, so you should feel really good. Just stand here for a moment to get back the flow in your body. And I'm going to go back to a low lunge like this. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to go on our stomach and we're going to lift our arms up like Superman. Now, a lot of people have a weak upper back simply because we look at a computer all day or we're looking at our phone all day. So this pose can greatly benefit it just because you're strengthening your upper back. You're more focused on it. You're trying to gain muscle strength in your upper back. So we're going to do a couple of the Superman poses. You can even do floor bow where you connect and grab your feet behind you and just hold it. It's really great. And it's also, I feel like your upper back is one of the places that's often forgotten about as far as strength training goes. A lot of people work forward, they're bent forward all day, and they forget that those muscles in your upper back are essential. And you can have poor posture and whatnot if you don't focus on them. So yeah, if you fall out, just get back in, because the main purpose of this is to listen to what your body is telling you and focus on that. So if your body is telling you this isn't a good exercise or position for you, do a different one, modify it, or try something new. Okay, so I'm going to go back down, put my hand on the other side, and I'm going to windshield wiper my feet because it feels good. And then what I'm going to do for this next one is I'm going to go into a boat pose. So you're going to be holding your pose like this. Go back a little bit further if you're not feeling the burn. And then just stretch your legs out overhead. This helps stretch your inner thighs. And then go back to the center. And I'm going to do a little bit of ab crunches. You could do anything that you want. Another favorite is bicycles or candlesticks. But just some sort of ab workout is good. And while I'm down here, I'm going to show you, if you lift your legs up overhead, this is a great stretch for your neck and upper back. I'm going to hold it for a moment. If you have a wall to lean against or something that makes it easier instead of you holding yourself up, feel free to do so. We spend all day sitting down, so this really helps circulate the blood flow in your body. And I know it can be often forgotten about because our hips hold a lot of the stress and pressure. So don't let that be you. You can go to into Karmasana or snail pose. So feel good. Sit here for a moment. Feel it. And then get back down. So now another pose I'm gonna share with y'all is just to stretch out your shoulders. So we're gonna lay on our stomach, and then you're gonna have both your hands palm down, and then I'm gonna roll over to my right side, and it's gonna stretch out my shoulder blade and whatnot. And you can use your leg as a kickstand. You can have your arm up higher or lower depending on how you want to feel the stretch in your shoulder blade. So for me, the stretch feels good like this, and your other side might not be the same as this side as well. They might not be the same feeling. But this really stretches out your shoulders, especially if you're having like shoulder pain or you slept on your shoulder wrong and you want to cut off the blood supply to it and then reissue new blood supply or recirculate it. It helps with that. So I would say to definitely try it out. Whew. And you'll have to wait moments, some time for it to do its job. That's the thing about some of these poses. And so I hope that as you're going through your practice today, you remember that it's not about perfection, it's about where you are and how you feel. Don't let someone else's view of perfection or what they think impact how you view your perfection or your growth, because it's all subject to your view. All right, so I'm going to roll back over and then I'm going to do it on the other side. So arms out flat. I'm going to clasp my hand behind. And then you can try to connect your other hand to it, but might not work. So while you're stretching your arm out here, which should feel really good, it's so easy to remember or get caught up in the same cycle, doing the same thing over and over again. And I feel like sometimes you just have to break the monotony of doing things over and over again the same way. And, life can be monotonous, but I feel like the one thing that reminds us that there's challenges and changes is your body. Your body will tell you, hey, this isn't right, or we've done this too many times, so can we switch it up? So really listen to your body and how it feels, because you can tell your mind one thing and have it think that it's acceptable if we've always done it this way, to keep doing it this way, but it might not be acceptable all the time. So just keep that in mind. So while you're holding this pose, which I'm going to get out of the pose. And I'm actually going to get up. And I'm going to do a deer pose to stretch out my thighs. So my left leg is tucked in and my right is cockamamie back behind me, or, sideways. And then I'm going to lift up my arms and lean over. Now, it depends how you feel in your body. You can go more to the right, more to the left. I prefer this area. And while you're in these positions, focus on your breathing. Some of these positions can be really tight, and I encourage you to just slowly power through it. But obviously, if it hurts you, do not do it. But if you're really feeling, that it's tight, sometimes you can slowly ease into it. And it will make a world of difference, because you're releasing the pressure or the strain there. And it's easy to do that, believe me. It's easy to think that you can't do some of these positions or you don't need it because it's so tight, but in essentially you do need it. So after this one's done, we're going to switch to the other side, and I'm going to tuck in my right leg and bend my left behind. And then I'm going to lift my arms overhead and do a forward fold. If you need more time in between, I realize I did that kind of fast. Feel free to take time for your leg to recycle the blood. I feel like so many times we get caught up in the fact that we're feeling a certain way, but if we just take time to listen to our body, we can fix the way that we feel or alter that mood, because we're just holding on to so much tension in our muscles in our body. And movement really helps facilitate eliminating those issues. I feel like a lot of people miss out on how important it can be and how beneficial it is, and they get stuck in this cycle. So don't think that you can't change things and have a positive outlook, because you can. All right, so I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna stretch both my legs out, and I'm gonna do a reverse plank just to get the blood flowing back in my lower legs. And then I'm gonna come back and sit at the center. And that was the end of my yoga for today. I hope you guys gained something from it and you are able to go into the new year. And remember, it doesn't have to be a new year to start something new or to begin something. Why wait or why plan something when you can start it right now? So I hope you guys have a happy new year, and I will see you soon.